Right now at 5, residents in Northeast Oklahoma are looking for answers for the chat piles surrounding Pitcher, Oklahoma.
And we've got a nice start to the day and a pretty decent day ahead of us. We'll have a look at your forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, controversial comments from a Joplin city councilman spark a recall push.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is finally Friday.
Yes, like the enthusiasm.
Oh, man. Here's the deal. So, time management's one of my biggest struggles in life. And so I've been working on that. So I got things done. I got a little power nap in just before the show started.
Oh, so you're feeling good.
I haven't even had the coffee yet, and I've got the energy going.
Morning.
So we are ready to go. I hope it's going to be a great Friday for you all out there. I know it will be, and we've got a pretty nice day. A little bit breezy, but a pretty nice day nonetheless. You know what's kind of crazy is because we've been fairly mild lately. The temperatures that we're going to have today, while they will be cooler than yesterday, will actually be about normal, which very rarely happens. I have no idea how they established normals when we never seem to be near normal at any time during the year. All right, downtown Pittsburgh looks fantastic so far, save for the camera MoDOT at 20th and Range Line. The future track also looks fantastic. The only thing it's going to show us is these gusty north winds out there, and of course the slightly cooler temperatures. But some good news, we haven't managed to really get as cold from our overnight as we were expecting, which means we're going to be just a hair warmer this afternoon than what we were expecting, but not by much. I mean, it's not going to be super cold, but it's not going to be super warm. It's going to be pretty decent. And it's not bad right now. We're 47 in Joplin, 45 in Pittsburgh. Eventually, we will drop a little more, and we'll get a little closer to that expectation, but we just didn't drop nearly as quickly. And again, not that anybody's complaining. We've got mid-upper 40s for most of us, some low 50s still hanging around in our southern counties. So kids getting on the bus this morning, we're looking to be right about the mid-40s. Clear skies, northwest winds 5 to 10. As we get into the afternoon, the north winds pick up, gusting to 25, be about 66 when the bus brings them home. Clear skies today, as I mentioned, a bit breezy, a bit cooler, but we're still looking at mid-60s for most of us out there. So again, not much warmer than what we were thinking, but a little warmer. But it's all right because we're going to go right back above normal as we head into the weekend. Details on that and our storm chances next week here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, last April, Ryan Jackson ran uncontested and won a 4-year term for the Zone 3 seat on Joplin City Council. But now there's a community effort to recall Jackson from his position following a series of comments he made on a Facebook post. KOAM Samantha Walker has more.
In a series of social media comments, Joplin City Councilman Ryan Jackson refers to gender dysphoria as a mental illness and says people, quote, push the ideology on mentally unhealthy people and impressionable children. The incident sparked backlash, with community members organizing an effort to remove Jackson from his position, including a recall petition. The petition says the councilman, quote, failed to uphold his oath of office and has shown an inability to conduct oneself in a manner that preserves public confidence and respect. The founder and co-chair of Jomo Pride is behind the effort to recall Jackson. In a statement, Ron Birch says the petition is, quote, not due to a singular incident, but a culmination of issues since Councilmember Jackson took office. They add that hate speech, slurs, and making fun of those with disabilities and mental illnesses should not be tolerated from a city council member. According to the Joplin City Charter, a recall election can be held if a sufficient petition containing signatures from at least 20% of those registered to vote in the last municipal election is submitted to the city clerk. I spoke to Councilman Jackson, who says the controversial comments were made from his personal account, not from one associated with his role with council. He says, quote, we are all entitled to our opinion and freedom of speech, and, quote, science shows there are 2 genders and that's it. I don't believe men should be in women's spaces. Jackson says community members have approached him about controversial comments from other council members, but he told them others are entitled to their opinion.
Organizers working to recall Ryan Jackson say they'll be at Blackthorn Pizza and Pub today from 4 to 6 with petitions to sign. Well, utility companies across the country have a simple message for their customers: dig safely. And right here in our area, Aspire Gas wants to encourage residents to call 811 before starting any project that involves putting a shovel into the ground. They say calling 811 a few business days before digging can prevent almost every accidental damage to a utility line, which can cause injury, death, or harm to the environment.
Protects it from people getting harmed or even possibly killed. There's been, like, our gas lines have been hit before, and that's a dangerous product to have blowing out in the open. It's you know, when we get there, it's pretty safe, but we never want gas escaping without our intentions.
Well, Aspire Gas says accidents can always happen, and if a utility line is damaged, they say call 911 first before calling Spire and 811 to report the damage. April is National Safe Digging Month. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, in celebration of the Week of the Young Child, the Pittsburgh Police Department invited the public out to grab a bag full of art supplies. Now, each bag included a canvas, some stickers, markers, and crayons for young aspiring artists. Now, the first come, first serve event was sponsored by Crawford County Mental Health Center, the Kansas Children's Service League, and the Pittsburgh Police Department. Well, work continues in Ottawa County surrounding the Tar Creek Superfund site. The cleanup from decades of mining left behind soil and water contamination, as well as millions of pounds of the substance known as chat. Now, the EPA Region 6 hosted a meeting at the Miami Civic Center to discuss the project. KOAM's Anthony Saviello shows us where the effort is headed.
Work continues as trucks carry thousands of pounds of chat out of pitcher to be disposed of safely.
It's a well-organized machine in that matter because we have to organize haul routes to make sure we're being safe not only for our drivers but for the general public as well.
The Quapaw Nation is just one of the dozens of groups working to remediate the land in Ottawa County to what it once was.
Growing up here as a kid, you would see like a mountain from the distance in picture. That's all gone now. Working for the City of Commerce, I've seen the work that they've done, where the land was prior and what it looks like after. It's a completely 190. It's beautiful when they leave it.
But there is still a lot of work to be done.
So our standards for wanting to make sure that this work is done efficiently, correctly, and as most beneficial to the property and environment as we can. It's our homeland. This is where we're going to be at. Quapaw Tribe's going to be here forever, and so we want it done right.
And as groups continue to navigate the hoops they have to jump through,
we have to plan well out in advance, and then we've been trying to open communications with Region 7 to make sure that we're doing the same stuff in stream for levels that they're doing, and we're trying to work from upstream south so we're not recontaminating things, working backwards. So
residents are optimistic.
Absolutely, there's still the same concerns, but do I feel like that's starting to get better and dwindle as far as the improvements? Because of the improvements, yeah. I mean, yeah.
In Ottawa County, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Well, the Ottawa County Health Department offers free blood lead testing for children. You could also get your yard tested free of charge. We've provided a link to all this information and more on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Several high school baseball tournament has began. We'll have the highlights from opening day. Plus, Russian-American prisoner is freed after spending almost 8 months in prison. And Chris will have a look at your weekend forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, with about a month remaining in the regular season, many of our local high school baseball teams will participate in some tournaments. Yesterday, the Adam LaRoche tournament in Fort Scott and the Mickey Mantle Classic in Commerce both got underway. We're going to start in Fort Scott with the opening game of the 2025 Adam LaRoche Tournament. Fort Scott taking on Ottawa. We pick it up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Tigers trailing 10-8. Cannon Brown puts a good swing on that pitch. It goes all the way to the wall. 1 run scores, and Brown hustles all the way to third for the triple. Bottom of the 6th. Fort Scott still behind. Caden Cannon lines one into right center. Brody Gomez scores, and tying run. Cannon advances to second. Tied at 10 in the bottom of the 7th. Ty Marbury sends this pitch to deep right field. That bounces off the base of the wall. He leads off with a triple. 2 batters later, Brown back at the plate. He's going to rip a line drive up the middle, and that's a game winner. Fort Scott beats Ottawa in the quarterfinals of the Adam LaRoche Tournament. Final score, 11-10. Now for game 2, Carl Junction Baseball takes on Blue Valley North. CJ trailing 2-0 in the bottom of the 1st. Wyatt McAfee hits a line drive into right, and that brings the first Bulldog run across the plate. Top of the 2nd, slow chopper towards third. Brody Pant comes charging and makes a great throw to first just in time for the out. So we're going to head to the bottom of the 2nd now. Bulldogs bats continue to work. Pant lines it to left. Craig Hayes scores. Carl Junction now leads 4-2. So we're still in the same inning. Deacon Endicott is going to send this pitch into right. And it takes a funny hop, and the Bulldogs are now in front, 5-2. Carl Junction takes down Blue Valley North in the quarterfinals with a final score of 10-9. Bulldogs and Tigers met up in the semifinals of the winners bracket, and Fort Scott wins 2-1. Tigers advance to the tournament championship on Saturday. CJ will play for 3rd place. Also, day 1 of the Mickey Mantle Classic in Commerce. Welch beats the Tigers in pool play. You can find the highlights of that game on our website, koamnewsnow.com/sports. Now we're heading back to Kansas. High school softball between Frontenac and Colgan. Raiders lead 4-0 in the 3rd. Maddie Call flies this one to center, and it is gone. Raiders lead by 5. So you head to the 5th now. Frontenac, they've got runners on 2nd and 3rd. Ella Sullivan hits this one up the middle, and 2 runners score. Raiders now lead 7-0. NEO commit Avery Johnson steals the show in the circle as she makes several strikeouts, and the Panthers just never get fully comfortable against her. The Raiders win this one easily, 15-2. More of the same in game 2. Frontenac wins 14-3 to complete the doubleheader sweep over their CNC League rival. Lady Raiders remain undefeated on the young season. After tonight, their record improves to 6-0. Well, still to come, a new study shows that owning a pet could help boost your well-being. Plus, nice temperatures we have on the way could also boost your well-being. Details when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:18. It's Friday. We're getting that much closer to the weekend, and we've got a nice weekend ahead of us as well. Really nice just sums up the next several days. Other than the gusty winds, it's going to be pretty decent. If you track into the afternoon, we have those gusty north winds that'll be out there. It does keep us a little cooler, but believe it or not, these cooler temperatures are actually about where we should be for this time of year, into the mid and upper 60s across the area. Now, overnight tonight, temperatures are still expected to drop back into the upper 30s for some, low 40s for others. We're not going to be near freezing, but it's going to be pretty cold. However, late this evening and overnight, the winds will shift out of the southeast, and eventually they'll shift just straight up out of the south into our Saturday. Abundant sunshine tomorrow, but with those south winds, that brings in warmer air. It's going to be breezy again, but our temperatures begin to rise a bit, back in the low 70s for our Saturday. South winds continue, and they're expected to pick up a bit as we head into Sunday as well, so do keep that in mind. Maybe if you're heading out for the weekend, coming back on Sunday, driving a high-profile vehicle, whatever the case may be, just be aware we're expecting very gusty south winds on our Sunday. But did you see how warm we were at 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday? A lot of us in the low 60s to start the day. We're near 70, if not slightly above by noon, which means we're going to be even warmer, going in the low 80s. And I saw a report from a station down in Oklahoma City. Parts of northwestern and western Oklahoma could get close to the triple digits over the next few days. Which is just wild. So, I mean, we're going to be warm. Look at Bartlesville. Look at some of our western counties. Chanute, Fredonia, Yates Center, Coffeyville, Bartlesville, close to 90 by Sunday evening. 90. It's April. And close to 90. We go through the rest of our Sunday again, and we don't cool down that fast either with those gusty south winds. Look at these temperatures by 8 o'clock, still hanging on into the upper 70s and low 80s out there. Which would be a big change from where we are right now, for example. Clear skies, winds west at 3. That's the other contributing factor as to why our temperatures didn't drop as much. We weren't as breezy overnight as was expected either. It's, sometimes, as I've mentioned, Mother Nature does her own thing, and she likes to shake things up, and that was the case. West winds at 3. We're at 47 in Joplin. Right now, temperatures across the rest of the region, the majority of us right in the mid to upper 40s. We got some cooler spots out there. Looks like at this point, Nevada is the cold spot at 43. The warm spot appears to be, just getting quickly scanning here, Bentonville sitting at 52 right now. We're going to start our day into the upper 40s, clear skies, near 60 by 11 o'clock this morning. Another almost 20-degree climb, but then, like I mentioned, we will still level out, but just a little bit warmer, mid-upper 60s, and north winds gusting to 25. Winds will shift out of the southeast, 5 to 10 overnight tonight. Clear skies continue, low 40s for most of us, but some upper 30s will be possible out there. The warming trend continues. We go a little cooler for Monday and Tuesday, but near average. We start warming up again Wednesday, Thursday, and into next weekend. The low 80s return. Now, again, last week, I just want to emphasize, several days out from last Wednesday, there was a lot of data suggesting severe weather for last Wednesday. That is not the case. We don't have anything suggesting severe weather that far out for any of our thunderstorm chances that are coming up next week, but we are in severe weather season. So, of course, we'll keep a close eye on them. If any of that changes, we will certainly let you know. Let's check your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning, a new study has found more people with type 1 diabetes are using GLP-1 drugs. Now, despite limited evidence on their safety and effectiveness for the condition, GLP-1 medications like Ozempic were originally developed to treat type 2 diabetes. Some have also been found to be safe and effective for weight loss, sleep apnea, and to reduce stroke and heart attack risk in non-diabetic people. However, many doctors are prescribing GLP-1 drugs off-label for their type 1 patients. Well, new research suggests having a cat or a dog could improve your well-being as much as being married or meeting up regularly with friends and family. Now, the study was published last week in the journal Social Indicators Research. Now, it also found having a pet could help with life satisfaction as much as having more money. Now, one of the paper's co-authors said if pets improve life satisfaction as much as the study suggests, policymakers should make it easier for people to own them. Well, with all the tariff news, it might be easy to miss congressional budget negotiations, but advocates say this might be a key moment to pay attention. Now, Republicans in the House and Senate are trying to agree on a blueprint for a process called reconciliation. Now, it basically lets the majority party pass a budget without minority votes. Republicans in support of the blueprint say it will not cut Medicaid or Social Security assistance for qualified beneficiaries, but Democrats say they're worried about some aspects of those programs. Amy Kiley reports on both sides of the debate.
Hands off Medicaid.
We're not going to cut Medicare, Social Security, or Medicaid.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says his chamber could vote on a budget blueprint today. The Republican plan already has the green light from the Senate, so if the House passes it, it'll likely be the foundation for how the U.S. spends money the next few years. Democrats say they're worried about what it could mean for Medicaid. In fact, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is challenging Johnson to go head-to-head with him in what's called a colloquy.
Mr. Speaker, I'm ready to yield. I'm ready to debate one-on-one on this House floor.
So far, Johnson is not accepting the challenge, but comments from the two leaders yesterday suggest what they might say if he did.
It's an assault on Medicaid, an assault on health care, an assault on nutritional assistance to children and families. It's an assault on older Americans.
Don't believe the lies about that.
The plan asked the House Energy and Commerce Committee to come up with $880 billion in cuts over 10 years. Analysts say it's hard to do that without affecting Medicaid. It provides health care to more than 20% of Americans and foots the bill for most seniors in nursing homes. Republicans say they don't want to eliminate it, but they do want to refine it.
Anybody who's an eligible beneficiary will be protected in this process. But there are a lot of other savings in fraud, waste, and abuse.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And what are not in the budget blueprint are Democratic amendments to reverse customer service cuts for Social Security. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves a pretty decent day lined up, a bit cooler out there and breezy. We'll have a look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, warmer weather means more time outside, but that also could mean unwanted encounters with others.
We've got a pretty decent day ahead of us. Temperatures are slightly cooler, but near average. A look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the Joplin Senior Center holds an expo specifically with area seniors in mind.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
Chris Warner, it's Friday. It is April the 11th, and we are almost to the weekend.
Yes.
And it is going to be a fantastic weekend
Certainly
out there. It's really been a
is.
fantastic week. So for those folks, don't have the Monday through Friday jobs.
Right.
If your weekend was during the middle of the week, it wasn't bad
No,
then
it wasn't
either.
bad
It's
at
not
all.
been bad at all, and it's going to stay fairly decent for a little while longer. It's a live look downtown Pittsburgh. It's dark outside. Well, it's because the sun hasn't come up, but the skies overhead are clear and looking pretty good from MoDOT camera. 20th and Rangeline in Joplin as well. On to the future track we go. We have calm winds now, so there's a couple of factors. That's one of the reasons temperatures didn't drop as quickly as expected last night. And because of that, we're going to be a little warmer today than what we were expecting yesterday, but still cooler than where we were for our Thursday across the area. Gusty north winds out there, abundant sunshine otherwise, and as I mentioned, a little warmer than what we were originally anticipating, not significantly so, but those temperatures that we're going to have today are going to be relatively close to average. 47 in Joplin right now, 45 in Pittsburgh. And taking a look at temperatures around the area, most of us are in the mid to upper 40s. We have some low 50s down south, Bentonville, the warm spot at 52. We have some low 40s up north. Nevada right now looks to be the cool spot there at 43 at this point. So again, it's a mix, but not bad for this time of year. It's pretty close to average. Around 45 when the kids get on the bus this morning, clear skies, northwest winds around 5 to 10, and then they'll pick up out of the north, gusting to 25 this afternoon. Still sunny, around 66 when the bus brings them home, and our highs today heading right around the mid 60s, maybe some upper 60s here and there. So again, a little warmer than what we anticipated. Cooler still than yesterday, but pretty close to normal for us out there. Our warming trend continues into at least Sunday, but gusty winds continue to that point as well. Details on that, we'll talk about some rain chances next week here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the milder temperatures mean more people spending time outside, and the rising temperatures could also mean rising tempers. Now, as more head outside to enjoy outdoor activities, you and your property could be vulnerable. KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with law enforcement about tips to keep you safe.
Going to local park goers who say spending quality time in the sun with their families is nice, but so is their safety.
I am the one to always check my surroundings.
Madison is spending time at the park. However, one thing she keeps at the top of her mind, her personal safety.
I would take my wallet with me or my purse and keep it with me at all times, make sure I have my eyes on it.
Her sister Mercedes does that too.
To be honest, I just either bring my wallet with me or I put it in my glove box and lock her up.
According to Lieutenant Kyle Hand from Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, these women have the right idea.
If you do leave your valuables in a car, make sure that they're concealed somewhere underneath the seats.
We all have heard the saying, if you see something, say something, but law enforcement says there's a few things they'd like to know to make their job easier.
If you can provide a description of a person that's injured or the person that is committing a crime, a detailed description of them, if they're driving a vehicle, what that vehicle looks like. A tag number is always awesome.
Both Madison and Mercedes say they just want to keep things simple.
Occasionally we'll take a little walk if we're feeling up for it, but usually just the playground is enough for us.
If I have anything, I will put it in my glove box or put it in my console, just keep everything locked up.
And with that said, most individuals we spoke to say they feel pretty safe in the 4 states. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, Lieutenant Hand says if you're ever concerned about your safety, he recommends take protective gear like pepper spray with you. The Wildcat Glades Nature Group is hosting its semi-annual rummage sale, and they're inviting the community to take part. The event raised money to support conservation and education efforts at Wildcat Park. Items like books, household decor, toys, tools, puzzles, craft supplies, and small furniture are welcome. But the group is asking people to hold off on clothes, old TVs, and large appliances. Organizers say it's a great way to support local nature projects, and all ages are welcome.
We have people that show up to our rummage sales that's when we see them. We see them twice a year, and they come in. They leave a donation on top of whatever they purchased, and so it's really fun to catch up with friends and just to see that. It's just a really neat experience.
The rummaging sale begins today at the IBEW Hall on Hearns Boulevard from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and will continue on Saturday. Well, the Joplin Senior Center held the annual Senior Expo. The event showcased vendors from around the area whose products are specific to a senior lifestyle. Now, not only did the event serve as a way to expose specific brands to seniors, but it also provided a valuable networking opportunity and extra benefit for the community. All the funds generated from registration fees for the expo went to benefit the Homebound Meals program for the Area Agency on Aging.
The expo actually started as a fundraiser. We are trying to keep people off of wait lists for the home delivered meals program, and we have to get really creative on how we do that nowadays. But what better way to get these resources in front of older adults in the area than double it with a fundraiser, get these companies in front of seniors who are going to need these services eventually.
Now, the Regional Area Agency on Aging serves the senior population of Barton, Jasper, Newton, and McDonald counties. Well, Joplin area business leaders and community members gathered to celebrate a year of achievements at the 108th Annual Chamber of Commerce Banquet. The Chamber presented a number of awards, including Outstanding Citizen of the Year, Business of the Year, and the Joseph Newman Rising Star Award, just to name a few. Organizers say the Cornerstone celebration honors the success and contributions that make the Joplin community thrive.
It's a great opportunity for us to bring investors together of the Chamber, our members, our business community, and celebrate one another and our successes, because our community wouldn't be what it is without the success of our businesses.
And KOAM received recognition for its milestone membership, 50 years as a Joplin Chamber member. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A new home-based therapy could help those who battle with dementia or depression. Plus, search efforts for survivors are reaching desperate measures after a roof collapses at a nightclub in the Dominican Republic. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Well, topping World Watch, the European Union is putting its retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. on hold for 90 days after President Trump backed down and unveiled a similar pause Wednesday. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen wrote on social media, quote, "We want to give negotiations a chance." Now, the EU approved its first countermeasures on Wednesday, and von der Leyen said if negotiations are not satisfactory, the countermeasures will kick in. The EU had been hit by multiple tariffs, including steel, aluminum, and cars. And a Russian-American woman who was wrongfully detained in Russia is now free and on her way to the United States. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio posted to social media that President Donald Trump secured Kinesia Karlina's release. Now, according to a website run by her supporters, Karlina, an amateur ballerina, had traveled to Russia to visit her family. A Russian court convicted her of treason and sentenced her to 12 years after she made a donation of just over $50 to a U.S.-based charity supporting Ukraine. Well, the desperate search for survivors of a roof collapse at a nightclub in the Dominican Republic is ending. Now, one top official promised we're not going to abandon anyone, but as of now, a recovery mission is underway. Now, more than 210 people are confirmed dead. CBS News' Christian Benavides is at the scene in Santo Domingo. Now, he spoke to one young woman waiting for word on her family members.
There's heartbreak outside the Jet Set nightclub in the Dominican Republic, where hundreds of people have descended looking for their loved ones.
So we have no idea where he's been, how he is. I think he's still in there.
Today is Shailene Peña's birthday. Her father, Maximo Peña, is missing. He sent her this video of merengue singer Ruby Perez on stage at the nightclub just minutes prior to the collapse.
My dad is my hero. Like, I can't live without him. Sorry. He was really important to me, and I'm not prepared for anything that isn't hugging him right now.
Her stepmom, aunt, and cousins are all missing, presumed to be underneath the rubble. Officials say they do not yet know what caused the collapse that took at least 218 lives, including former MLB players Octavio Dotel and Tony Blanco.
We always keep hope.
Victor Atala is the Minister of Health in the Dominican Republic.
That's what keeps us searching and rescue. That's what keeps motivating the rescuers teams to keep on giving everything they got.
Yesterday, crowds of family members and friends were here waiting to hear word from their loved ones. All of those crowds have now moved to the local morgue, which is where the bodies of those that are being recovered here are being taken to. It's unclear how many more people could be buried underneath the rubble. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:45 now on this Friday morning. We're starting, of course, with a quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Looks fantastic so far this morning. Same from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline. Folks starting their Friday. Probably excited it is Friday, unless, unfortunately for some, I know this might be your Monday, but hopefully you had some good time off earlier this week because the weather's been pretty decent so far, and it's going to continue to be today. We'll have gusty north winds heading into the afternoon. Now, because winds didn't get as gusty overnight, didn't bring in the cold air that fast overnight. That's one contributing factor to our warmer weather today. And then just temperatures only a few degrees warmer than what we were expecting out there, but it's not going to be bad. We're going to be close to normal, which is rare here in the 4 states, but it's not going to be bad. Now tonight, our temperature's still looking to drop back in the low 40s, maybe some upper 30s here and there. And then overnight tonight, winds will begin to shift out of the southeast. And then tomorrow, they'll shift straight up out of the south. They'll start gusting again for us, upwards of about 25 miles an hour. But that will bring in warm air across the region, so we're going to be a pinch warmer as we head into our Saturday afternoon. Now, of course, will leave us just a hair warmer going from Saturday night into Sunday morning. In fact, maybe more than a hair warmer, starting in the upper 50s, low 60s early Sunday. And then that will also allow us to be even warmer by Sunday afternoon. Now, you see how fast these wind arrows are moving? I do want to remind folks, if you're coming back, maybe you had something going out of town for the weekend, you took the boat, you took the RV, or driving any kind of high-profile vehicle, you do need to be aware we're expecting very gusty winds as we head into our Sunday out of the south and then eventually out of the southwest, so do keep that in mind. And take a look at these temperatures by Sunday evening. We've got low mid-80s out there, 87, Bartlesville, Fredonia, Chinook, getting close to 90 at some of western Oklahoma, could even reach the triple digits as we head into Sunday afternoon out there, so a very warm day indeed for some. 47 right now in Joplin. We got a west wind at about 3 miles an hour. And across the area, since again, it didn't get that gusty, we're not as bad, but we still got some cool spots. Most of us mid-upper 40s. We have some low 50s in the south. Bentonville, the warm spot at 52. And we've got some low 40s up north. Right now, Iola now, the cold spot, sitting at 42 degrees this morning. So we're going to start our day into the mid to upper 40s and eventually around 60 by 11 o'clock this morning. Sunny, again breezy, north winds gusting to 25 and eventually making making it into the mid to upper 60s, since about 67 is our average high for this time of year, so we're going to be relatively close to normal. Into the evening we go. Clear skies out there, eventually dropping back, low 50s by 10. As I mentioned, we'll be back into the low 40s, some upper 30s. Southeast winds, though, now 5 to 10. Those south winds again start gusting Saturday into Sunday. Low 70s Saturday, low 80s on Sunday. Cooler but near average Monday and Tuesday. We start warming up again in the second half of next week into next weekend, and then we've got those thunderstorm chances. And as I've mentioned, there's nothing that is screaming severe in the long-range data, which is great news, but we are in severe weather season, so as we've also mentioned, we just want to make sure we keep an eye on those storm chances just in case, but otherwise just some additional much-needed rain out there and much warmer weather next week as well. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
Well, dementia and depression often go hand in hand in patients with Alzheimer's disease, but many don't respond well to traditional antidepressants. Dr. Malika Marshall shows us an experimental home-based electrical therapy that may be able to treat both memory loss and mood.
Julie Whelan loved being a medical librarian at Harvard, but the 76-year-old had to retire when her mind started to slip.
It wasn't just, oops, a mistake. It was something more.
That something more was Alzheimer's disease, and like many patients, Julie started to feel depressed.
Wonderful husband here that helps me, but he's got his own things he has to do, and I feel lonely, and I can't see my grandchildren because I can't drive.
Researchers at Harvard-affiliated Hebrew Senior Life say antidepressants don't work well in older adults. So they're studying the effects of transcranial electrical stimulation on both depression and memory loss in patients with Alzheimer's, delivered right at their home.
It is not the same as shock therapy, ECT. It is delivering electricity to the brain, but in a way more controlled manner that is targeting only specific regions of the brain.
A caregiver attaches multiple electrodes to a soft bonnet which is secured to the patient's head. Gel is applied to the scalp and leads are attached to each electrode. An iPad walks them through the steps systematically.
Each session takes about 22 minutes, and Julie needs to stay silent and still during that time.
Julie did 5 treatments a week for a month.
Is it painful?
No.
She's not sure if the treatments helped, but
she's back reading now, more books than I am now.
And we are seeing preliminary signs of improvement in depression, also some preliminary evidence of memory symptoms improvement.
Julie's hope for the future?
Just to be able to find a way to deal with this that lets me still be happy with my family.
And who doesn't want that?
Well, researchers are still recruiting patients 65 and older with a diagnosis of major depression and mild stage Alzheimer's disease. Very interesting. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, it's nesting season for the penguins at the Shed Aquarium in Chicago. Now, each spring, the rockhopper and Magellanic penguins begin to build their nests in their enclosure. Aquarium staff provide lavender stalks and pieces of hose to mimic materials found in their native habitats. Now, staff say male penguins will sometimes take the lead on building nests, either to attract a female mate or reinforce an existing bond. Other times, males and females build together. And a lot of us celebrate our pets every day, but doing so is especially important today as it's National Pet Day. The day is dedicated to pets who may not be getting the attention and companionship they deserve. We're talking about orphan pets and those animals at shelters needing a forever home. Now, if you have a pet, this day is also the perfect time to double check their vaccination schedule and any medications they take. Now, you could also give them a little extra love with a bath.
Assuming they enjoy that bath.
Yes.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but it's always great to love on your animals. We just had that story earlier in Health Watch too. It said, having a pet can be beneficial for you. And so if you don't have one, today's a great day to stop by one of our shelters because there are plenty of pets out there looking for that forever home, and they're going to love you forever. ever. As for today, a great day to get outside. If you do have a pet, maybe take them out for a walk because it's going to be pretty decent. Upper 40s to start, near 60 by 11 o'clock this morning. Sunny skies. We will have gusty north winds pushing about 25 miles an hour. And our highs today for most of us mid to upper 60s, so a bit warmer out there than what we were expecting, but still cooler than where we were yesterday and where we were on Wednesday. Clear skies through the evening, back down to the low 50s by 10. Southeast winds late tonight and overnight at about 5 to 10, back into the low 40s. And as I mentioned earlier, some of our locations could fall back to the upper 30s. So the good news is nothing quite to freezing levels by any means, but we could drop back into the low 30s out there. Warmer tomorrow, low 70s. We'll have south winds gusting upwards of 25. Those south winds could gust a little higher on Sunday, and we're warmer, low 80s. Back to near normal Monday and Tuesday, and we've got some shower and thunderstorm chances Wednesday, Thursday, and into next weekend. We also start warming up again, low 70s and eventually the low 80s by next weekend as well. So some pretty decent weather out there, just a few thunderstorm chances that we'll keep an eye on for you. That's a check of your forecast. We have a whole nother hour of the KOAM Morning News coming up right after this.